Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Amanda. And if you are joining me again, I'm so glad that you are here. This week we are doing the Artist's Way week 4. It's a pretty quick week. It was a fairly emotional week. This week it's all about recovering a sense of integrity. Now I'll just kind of do a recap of what the week is about, as well as a little bit of my own personal experience. So I just want to show you guys, look, these cute. Jessica, my daughter, made these. Gosh, when we were like, what, in high school, I think?
I think so.
Yeah. They just match so perfectly. Yeah, just had to show those out. Anyways, okay. So in her little sidebar here, Julia Cameron has, this week may find you grappling with changing self-definition. The essays, tasks, and exercises are designed to catapult you into productive introspection and integration of new self-awareness. This may both be difficult and extremely exciting for you. And she says, warning, do not skip the tool of reading deprivation. Ooh, this was tough. What does she mean by reading deprivation? We are to cut out basically any exterior noise. So no other reading of any other books. We are allowed, of course, to read The Artist's Way and our chapter and do the tasks. Cut out social media. Cut out radio, as much like TV, podcasts, things like that, which, that was a tough one for me. I have to say I wasn't a complete 100% good girl on that. I think I did watch a couple of my favorite content creators on YouTube while making dinner. Oops. I definitely did cut out a lot more. So instead of listening to a podcast on my drive home from work, which can sometimes be a good hour, I just sat in silence. I didn't even listen to the music. I just listened to my own thoughts, and it was nice. It was actually nice. I have to say that. It was tough, but very rewarding. So this week is about diving deep into your feelings and, as it says, a sense of integrity. So what are your boundaries? What are you willing to put up with, go with? Do you truly feel like it's okay? I'm okay. Is that real, or is that what we want people to see? So to just sort of really dive deep into be able to figure out some of your own personal habits and your own personal boundaries and keep yourself accountable, um, and just get a clear picture of how you truly feel about some things. You may notice this week that some of your tastes may change in music, in art, in books. You may be more open to seeing things in a different light. Maybe you're more open to look at your current relationship that you're in, your current friendships, your current job or position, where you're at in your life. So you might feel like you're more open to look at things from a different angle, I found before. So it's a little bit of an emotional week. She highlights a few things here. Maybe that you're physically feeling things because it's like a psychosomatic feeling. She calls it a crya. And it's like that asthma attack out of nowhere when you've just done a round of caretaking for your alcoholic sibling. That's a crya too. Like, it's always significant. It's a frequently psychosomatic. So, you can't stay with this abusive lover anymore. Or you can't work at a job that demands 80 hours a week anymore. You just feel it. There's something happening physically to you. You can't rescue a brother who needs to save himself. Right? So those are some of the examples that Julia Cameron points out. So yeah, it is an emotional week. It is quite an emotional week. In the journal part, so this is our accompanying journal. And so I've highlighted, usually at the beginning of I don't know if you can see this, but usually at the beginning of every chapter, there's some sort of write-up, kind of that coincides with the book, but it can be a little bit different. So A couple of things I highlighted was your sense of space or your sense of color may have altered. You might be experiencing vivid dreams and daydreaming about new possibilities in a new expansive way. Your goals may be clearer to you. Your likes and your dislikes might be more sharply drawn, right? You might have more of like a concise, like, oh, there's more of a black and white. Um, Especially if you undertake the media deprivation. So, this is what Julia Cameron suggests. You may wish to use your week to undertake small, self nurturing projects, like such as mending socks, organizing your kitchen shelves or your pantry, cleaning under the kitchen sink, going through some closets, right? You go through your makeup stash. To sort of go back to some basics and do some things that make us feel good and nurture us without all the
like the brain stimulation noise.
um, so it was really refreshing, but it was difficult for me actually because I usually like to have some type of a noise or a podcast or YouTube or music going on in my brain somewhere, as it distracts part of my brain so I can focus on what I'm doing. So, but it was very interesting. It was very interesting. It's something that I will continue to do more of. Removing myself off of social media more was very, very refreshing. Like I said, to me, it's kind of like a push and pull effect, right? It was really nice, but it was really challenging at the same time. Yeah, I felt like I was also sort of becoming more creative this week and opening up a little bit more that way. It's kind of like, yeah, kind of like having, I guess, like a tantrum inside, right? Like you're wanting to do something because you know it's good for you, but you really don't want to. So it's like you're like the kid who wants to stay up late, and but your inner self knows you should go to bed early, and you're having a little inner tantrum with yourself. So that was kind of interesting. I had lots of time to not be overstimulated.
I actually was very overstimulated in the beginning of this week, week 4.
And I had to really learn to kind of bring that down a little bit. And I think like hopping off the social media and hopping off of like all the brain noise did actually really help with that. So finding it easier to let things go. I still do have a few things to take to the thrift store here in town, but they are packed up and ready to go. Julia Cameron says at some point in this chapter that some people don't think that the process is working at this point, or like nothing overly dramatic has been happening. So, but she says the recovery process is often happening at the pace that it should be, and because we're in it, we actually are living it. We don't necessarily see it happening at like lightning speeds, right? But to others outside, it's actually very noticeable. So keep that in mind as well. You might start to notice that your energy changes, or you see your surroundings around you and wonder why, like, why am I hanging on to that piece of art? I've never really liked that. Like, what is that about, right? And but you actually are aware of it and you start paying attention to things like that. So, okay, so yeah, let's get to some of the tasks. I do like this little section here. She talks about the snowflake pattern of your soul is emerging. Each of us is a unique, creative individual, but we often blur that uniqueness with sugar, alcohol, drugs, overwork, underplay, bad relations, toxic sex, underexercise, over TV, undersleep, many and varied forms of junk food for the soul. The pages help us to see these smears on our consciousness. Week 4, here's some of the exercises. Buried dreams. It's an exercise. As recovering creatives, we often have to evacuate our own pasts for the shards of buried dreams and delights. Do a little digging, please. Be fast and frivolous. This is an exercise in spontaneity. So to be sure to write your answers out quickly, speed kills the censor. So, for example, here's a few things she asks you to do. List 5 hobbies that sound fun. List 5 classes that sound fun. List 5 things that you personally would never do that sound fun. 5 skills that would be fun to have. List 5 things that you used to enjoy doing. List 5 silly things that you would like to try once. And then she goes through this whole thing about the reading deprivation. We kind of touched on that. There's a little quote here by Brenda Uland. We are always doing something, talking, reading, listening to the radio, planning what's next. The mind is kept naggingly busy on some easy, unimportant external thing all day. That really hit home. I really like that. So when she talks about, like, because some people are like, well, what in the hell am I going to do if I don't have social media, or if I don't have an audiobook going, or I don't have a book in my hand, or like I know she says we're supposed to read The Artist Way still, but what am I gonna do?
Like, if I can't watch TV, if I can't, like, oh my goodness, right?
So she has a list of things. Listen to music. You can listen to music. Oh, why did I think I could?
I didn't read the memo.
So you can listen to music apparently. Make curtains. Wash the dog. Sort closets. Pay bills. Write to old friends. Can you imagine writing an old fashioned letter? Like that would be so cool. I think it would be fun to take up calligraphy. I used to do calligraphy in like grade 6 or grade 7. Loved it. Got a calligraphy set for Christmas one year. I always have these dreams of writing calligraphy, beautiful handwritten notes to friends. Knit, cook, fix the bike, watercolor, rewire the lamp, paint the bedroom. I do actually have to do that. So those are a few fun things that we can do instead of consuming social media or TV or whatever. Also, she says, is there an environment that, appeals to you? Is it cozy? Is it swank? Is it country? Is it like, town? Like, what is your environment? What kind of environment fills your cup, feeds your soul, I guess. Time travel. Describe yourself at 80. What would you do after 50 that you enjoy? Be very specific. Time travel. Remember yourself at 8. What did you like to do? What was your favorite thing? Is there anything that you can change in your environment now that wouldn't cost a lot of money or make a lot of changes, but create it so that it feels good? It feels like a nice space to be in. Maybe just add an extra pillow to your chair. Maybe pick up a really nice soft blanket for a throw for your couch. Okay, so that's kind of like, I guess, the book. Now, where did I go with this in my journal? Because I found myself this week. Oh yeah, okay, that I kind of like. I mean, I sort of like chicken scratch here, but I don't know if you can really see this, but like I kind of did sort of a quick design of like my garden and how the front of the house is going to be, and so I'm sort of projecting my thoughts and my plans ahead, which was kind of exciting. It was sort of like yeah, I don't know, just a planning ahead that felt nice, that was exciting, gives me something to look forward to. My best friend and I, she put in an order for a bunch of seeds that we split, so we're already planning ahead as to when we're going to plant and what we're planting, and so I think it's always fun to have something to look forward to and be creative in that aspect as well. So anyways, that's kind of wrapped up. Again, I believe I did most of my pages, but I think I may have skipped one day this past week. Yeah, the artist date. What did I do for the artist date again? Oh my goodness, I'm really bad at this. I'm finding this is not. I'm not a very good example of taking myself on a proper artist date. We often go singing, and I do sort of think of those times when I'm being creative as an artist date. So I'm not beating myself up too badly about it, but I do need to work on that and actually start planning something. I really do want to go to the art gallery here local in our city. So try to hold me accountable to that, okay? So let me know what week you're on. If you're following along, please, if you find this helpful, drop me a comment. I would love to hear your feedback. And please like, share, and subscribe. Love your support. And we'll see you for the next week. Okay, guys, take care.